Let's take a look at the state of the Western Conference. And with that, can the Spurs make another run to the NBA Finals? Happy Monday. Welcome back to another episode of Spurs In Focus right here on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts. Pick a platform. We are there. Substack, completely free. Spurs In Focus Substack. Go subscribe right now. I don't charge a dime. Just hit that subscribe button. You are in. Go do that right now. As always, I thank you for making Spurs In Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Ignore the rest. Unsubscribe to those other fools, man. Yeah, unsubscribe to those other shows. You only want to come here to Spurs In Focus. Every day, every time, every moment, you want to catch up on the latest with your silver and black. My name is Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer in San Antonio. What are we talking about today? We're going to get the state of the West / can the Spurs make a run to the finals again? So, y'all seen the offseason, right? So many changes have been East and West, right? Western Conference, Western Conference. But focusing on the West, the Spurs got to go to the West in order to get to the finals. Has it reshaped so much where it could be tougher for the Spurs to make another run? Maybe it's easier. The Thunder still a threat? What about the Jazz? What about the Rockets? What about the Wolves? We're going to talk about that. Then get into your comments. You guys are talking about a lot of things. We're going to pick 2 comments and react to them in just a few seconds. It's going to bring in our guest, everybody. Look who is back. Mr. Ray Carter. Follow him on X at RREYVIMG. And by the way, I think Rudy Campos owes you 2 beers now, right?
Man, nah, I don't do beer, but I know he owes me those protein shakes from when He-Man was around. He still owes me that. He never got back to me.
He's hoarding all the protein drinks, man. He wants to get.
I know, man.
That.
Come on.
I need them. There you go. Make sure to follow Ray on X again at RREYVING. Follow him right now. He'll talk all day with you about the Spurs, some stuff. Anything you got, make sure to follow him. Again, unfortunately, Rudy Campos could not make it. He got busy. Personal life, but he'll be back later this week. Like you for the live show. We'll see. All right, what are we talking about today, Ray? Well, you heard in the intro right now, the state of the West / can the Spurs make another run to the finals? Look, last year it was magical. Nobody had the Spurs in the finals in the preseason. Nobody had the Spurs going that far. I mean, people had them, they're a play-in team at best. I mean, it was literally like that. But lo and behold, the Spurs win the West. They get into the title round. Unfortunately, they lost the Knicks, but everybody's saying, no, this team is still poised to do it again. Not just once, but over and over again. But as we saw so far in this offseason rate, the West has been going through changes. The Thunder, they're still being the Thunder. They're still going to be there anytime you have SGA, J-Dub, and the rest of that crew there. They'll still be a problem, right? Okay, cool. But you look at other teams. Look at the Jazz. The Jazz seem to be a team on the rise. Making moves here, drafting well. They had a top pick again in this past draft. They might become a new problem for the Spurs. What about the Wolves? They had a LaMelo Ball. It's a 1-2 combo right there at the guard spot with Melo Ball and Edwards. The Blazers, we saw the Spurs. The Blazers may have given the Spurs one of the better fits this past postseason. Remember, the Blazers had the Spurs down multiple times at halftime, 20-plus points, double figures. Fortunately for the Spurs, they won. So the Blazers are on the rise. And then you look at other teams, like Mavericks. It's another season for Flag and the crew out there. Kyrie Irving may come back. Looks like all signs are pointing to yes. Ray, what do you think about the state of the West and the Spurs making another run to the finals?
I do think it is possible for us to go back to the finals, but like you mentioned, a lot of these teams that we played, especially you look at Portland, they got John Morant. Mm-hmm. Like we were bringing up, Timberwolves brought up LaMelo. A lot of these teams are starting to pack up. It is going to be a tighter race. I will admit that last season it was all about, the Spurs got away with playing against teams that were injury riddled. I was like, all right, I guess OKC got their ring off Tyrese, but I guess Spurs, whatever. But I do think this team can make that run. You look at Stephon Castle, you look at Dylan. We're talking about our big 3 here who's slowly getting to their peak. This was their first experience at the finals. They now know what it means to lose on the grand stage. I think that right now is going to help motivate them even more. And I do think we have another finals run.
Yeah, I think there'll be another deep postseason run. another finals appearance. I think I'm still kind of to be determined. You mentioned a big key word there, or words that just say health, healthy teams. It is true. The Thunder were not 100% when they played the Spurs in the West Finals, but they pushed the Spurs to 7 games, and that was with a depleted OKC team. They come back healthy. Could that be a problem? Now, granted, it's a long NBA season. Injuries can happen to the Spurs as well, or trades can happen, or maybe it just doesn't work. But the point is going into the new season, the Thunder are going to be the biggest threat to the Spurs. I look at other teams in the West. Look at the Lakers. No more LeBron James, but my God, they loaded up quick. It was like the moment LeBron James said, "Nah, I ain't coming back." I mean, they started making trades left and right. They could, and just as player acquisitions. Luke will be back. Austin Reeves will be back. They started making some moves to get better. Will that pan out? Don't know yet. Interesting. You mentioned Portland Trailblazers now with Ja Morant. They could be kind of one of those like bigger dark horses if things go right. Because that'll be what? Ja, Danny Avdija, Grant. That could be a problem.
You still got Damian Lillard?
That's right. I forgot about him. Damian Lillard, Dame Dollar. Yeah, I keep forgetting he's been out. People think he's retired. No, but he'll be right. That could be a question. But let's look at the Spurs side. Okay, sure. The Spurs didn't make any sexy moves. They didn't land Giannis. They didn't get Ja. But what do you think about the moves they did make that is adding Coach Billy Donovan to replace Sean Sweeney and then bringing in Tobias Harris? You think those were the right moves the Spurs needed to make to kind of stay in things?
I want to say yes, especially for Billy Donovan. Like, as soon as Sweeney was gone, it was one of those, who can the Spurs get to fill in?
Mm-hmm.
And Billy Donovan, he's had some good teams, especially when he was with OKC, with Westbrook, KD, Harden his first couple of years there. But this is an offensive-minded coach. Now, you can look at when he's in Chicago, that team didn't do much. Granted, when you have Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, you're not going to be having much progress there. So I think he kind of brings an offensive mindset to this team, which kind of the Spurs needed. We look at that 29-point lead that we lost in the finals. If we had some offensive-minded coach, I think we could have been able to maintain that lead. Tobias Harris, you look at him, second best scorer for Detroit in the playoffs. He wasn't a signing I was happy at the start, but over a while, I started seeing some stats, some highlights, and I said, you know what? He's what we need. He's a veteran presence. He can have his nights where he could drop 30, maybe 20 a game consistently. It's just those cold streaks is what I worry about. But I do think he fits that lineup that we need. I do personally, I would love to see him starting because set the tone a little bit. It's going to matter to see, are they willing to do that considering they just paid Champagnie his contract and he's that starter at the 4 position.
Yeah, and again, I want to look at just the overall West right now. We mentioned a few teams like the Lakers. But look at the Denver Nuggets. They kind of been quiet. And they're going to run it back. They feel they can run it back. And they'll probably be, again, a problem for the West and on the Spurs next season. But again, we talked about the Lakers a little while ago. They added Walker Kessler. That's some size right there. A big upgrade at the center spot, over 80. You got the Suns. Yeah, thank you. Lakers got Mamu. Guy could spread the floor, bring energy, hustle. The Suns, they had, get Miles Bridges on board. So you're seeing even like the Warriors, they're doing some veteran tweaking around their roster. Who knows where LeBron James lands? If he lands with the Warriors, that could change things. That could kind of means a lot. So there's that as well. But you look at teams, it still feels a little top heavy. I don't know if the Pelicans are still going to be an issue. The Clippers, they're falling off the cliff. They ain't going to be a yeah. Memphis, they're in full rebuild mode. Sacramento, they ain't going to be an issue. So it feels like the Spurs really have maybe 3 to 4 teams to contend with, but it just these 2 to 3, 4 teams that they got it with them are going to be headaches. Interesting enough, the Rockets, they've been kind of relatively quiet, haven't they?
They have. Honestly, I look at Houston, they just have a KD problem. They're trying to figure out either how to get rid of him or build around him. You look at Fred VanVleet, who was injured this past season with the ACL. he could have been an impact, but even then, I think Houston's just trying to figure out what does the future look like, because KD, Houston, their first year, it was all over the place, whether it was the burner accounts getting leaked, there's some drama going on between them. So I don't see them as a threat. I think I just see more or less their ego in the way rather than how they are as a team.
Yeah, and again, the West is still the stronger conference. Where Giannis goes to Miami, Jalen Brown goes to Philadelphia. There's some reshuffling there, but again, the West is where the power. And I mean, the West has all the edge when it comes to superstar talent. Again, obviously Wemby and other usual suspects, and just overall difficulty just for any contending team in the West. What do you think which teams do you think it comes down to? Is it still just going to be a fight between the Spurs and the Thunder to be the kings of the West, or do you think there's another team that could upset that apple cart and say, no, it ain't about the Spurs and the Thunder. We're here too.
I do think it'll be between Spurs and Thunder, but dark horse that I have is the Timberwolves. You look at LaMelo, Anthony Edwards, they got Jaden McDaniels, who was pretty good this season. They got rid of Julius Randle, their weakest link in that starting five. Maybe the 4th position is where it gets a little bit tricky because they're weak at that position. But LaMelo and Ant, they could each drop a triple-double, double-double, depending on the night. But I do think they're a sneaky team. If you give them one game, it's that series is going to be a wrap. Because you look at when they faced Denver, on paper, before LaMelo, Denver should have won that series. Anthony Edwards said, hold up, whoa. We're underdogs. We got this. And I think that's what gives this Timberwolves team a little voice in my mind, because they pulled off upsets before. This is a team that knows how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, the Thunder, we look at what they did recently, just trading Lou Dort. Obviously, that was a financial move for them. But the point is that you look at what they did before that. They re-signed Hartenstein to more of a team-friendly kind of created deal for them, because they were having all issues with the salary cap there. But again, for them, it's going to come down to health. Will they be healthy down the stretch? That's what doomed them last year. We'll see if that changes this year. Again, the Wolves, sure, they added LaMelo Ball, but just how much is that? How much is losing Naz Reid going to hurt? I think that's going to hurt them really big down the.
I think so.
Yeah. I think that was a significant loss for them. I mean, I get it. You got a running mate for LaMelo Ball, possibly one of the better guard combos in the West, let alone the NBA. But losing Naz Reid was rough, man. Rough. But again, they are still going to be a playoff threat. But I don't know if they're a title threat. That's the thing. I look at the field, I'm like, who is a title threat to the Spurs and Thunder? Again, I just only think it's just Denver, because it looks like they're just bringing it back. And you got Joker and Murray there. They've been there, done that. They got battle scars. They can hopefully get that things going, and they could be a threat. But Suns, Miles Bridges, does that really move the needle? I don't know. Maybe. Hey, we mentioned the Clippers. They're likely going to lose. Yeah, they're likely going to lose Kawhi with this whole mess that's going on with them right now. But top to bottom, I still think it's going to come down to the usual suspects: Thunder, Spurs, Denver. Man, who throw in there? Throw in the Wolves and the Rockets. Were they those 5 teams? Or am I missing somebody?
As much as you look at Golden State, Curry could lead this team. Curry's just one of those players. Even when you think he's out, he can still make an impact. You look at when they won against Boston, nobody was thinking that Warriors team was going to go all the way. I think they were in the play-in to start with. I do think they could be a sneaky team, but again, that hinders on, is LeBron going to make that move, or does he go return to the East where it's a little bit easier?
Yeah. I still think it's going to come down to Thunder and Spurs. Thunder are probably going to have a little bit of revenge on the mind if they do meet him in the conference finals, or even if they meet him in some point in the playoffs, semifinals, whatever. I think they're going to have that in mind. And you mentioned they got hit with the injury bug, but it's not like the Spurs were immune. They lost Fox for a few games in the series versus the Blazers. Wemby went out with that concussion. So the Spurs are just the better team in the West. But another finals run, man. I say yes, they got it if they can get past the Thunder. The same team. I think they can do it. But that Thunder team, they're going to come in really looking for a measure of revenge. Yeah, they really are. But it would be great. I mean, can you imagine back-to-back West champs for the Spurs? That'd be great. I think the last time they
I
did
need that.
was in 2013-14, right? With the Miami games. 2013, they won. They lost that one. And then 2014, they won the West, and then they won the title. I credit or wrong, but I think that was the last time the Spurs won back-to-back West champs titles. So we shall.
So I'm hearing.
Okay.
I'm hearing we're winning the championship next year. History always has a chance to repeat.
It's true. That's true. Yeah. I hope so. I think they could. Well, we got to evaluate the East. That's definitely for another show down the road. But as far as the West is concerned, looks like Ray and I are saying it. The West is just really top heavy, just super, super top heavy. And luckily, one of those top heavy teams is your Silver and Black. Hey, what about you guys? Do y'all think that the Spurs are going to cruise to an NBA Finals run, or it's going to be difficult? Let Ray know on X at RREYVING. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Don't forget about the Substack. Go subscribe right now, completely free. When we get back, it's time for you guys. Some fan comments. What are y'all talking about? I already told Ray which topic came up with you guys, and he got all like this. He was like, well, I want to talk about that topic. That's coming up next right here on Spurs in Focus.
As the new leader of the Decepticons, I command you to subscribe to Spurs in Focus.
Yeah, get it. We got Magneto capturing Megatron in gun form. Man, he's coming in loaded. That bumper right there. We are back, everybody. All right, go ahead. You were saying? That's power right there, Magneto and
dude. That looked clean. Even I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, that's too much power there for one man to handle. But maybe Magneto can handle it. By the way, I don't know if you read this. Yeah, I doubt you did, but back in the early 80s, maybe the 90s, I think it was late 80s, there was a comic with the Transformers, and it was pretty interesting. There was a comic where Megatron got stuck in his gun form, right? He just could not transform out of it. Something was wrong with him mechanically. And a mobster found the gun just laying outside. And he was like a low-level mobster. And he used it to rise to power in his gang, right? And then when he finally reaches the top, he's the top guy. Megatron figures out how to get out of the gun mode, and he turns into a robot. And then Megatron is pissed, right? And he's telling the guy, like, I can't believe you made me do this. I was under control of a human, a flesh creature. He was ready to like off him. Like he had his cannon on the guy, and he's like, and I can't handle this, He's like, you got to go. And then like he's charging it up, and then he powers down. And then he looks at the mobster. He goes, you know what? He goes, if I was in your situation, I would have done the same thing to rise to power. I'll let you live. And he walked away. I thought that was cold, man. That was cold. That was a great comic. That was a great comic. All right. We gotta get back, everybody. Now to talk about the Silver and Black. He is Ray Carter. Follow him on X at RREYVING. Follow me on X at Jeff G Spurs. All right. So it's your turn, guys. What are y'all talking about over at the Spurs in Focus YouTube page, which is, by the way, go subscribe right now. Well, Ray, let's start off with which one should we pick? All right, let me look down the row here. All right, Ray, we'll do the one that you've been drooling to talk about. All right, so y'all heard about this thing going on with the Spurs and Spurs season ticket holders, right? Remember last year, that whole thing fiasco about whole season ticket holders are reselling their tickets for a premium, recouping their financial, their losses and getting a net benefit, and they're selling to Knicks fans. That was the whole thing, right? Well, you fast forward to the offseason, and that's still a problem to the point where Spurs, SSNE, the Spurs Sports Entertainment, sending out letters to fans who have been long season ticket holders that they are now banned. They cannot buy anymore. And a lot of Spurs fans that are ticket holders went out to the media saying, this is wrong, it's my property, I should be able to do what I want to do. Well, fans are chiming in over at the Spurs in Focus YouTube page. This is from Pete Aguilar 79. He says, they are allowed to resell, but only to Ticketmaster, nowhere else. All right. So there's somebody saying like, hey, read the fine print. We've had another response saying those were the terms of service when you bought season tickets. Sorry, you're in trouble. You have every right to lose your tickets. Ray, where do you stand on this, and what are your thoughts about this?
Personally, because I've been a season ticket member back when we were still trying to get Wemby, I do think you can sell your tickets, but I think you gotta do it through Ticketmaster. That's been something that even when you sign up, it says, hey, you could resell your tickets if you need to. It just has to be through Ticketmaster. And I don't know what partnership or what things between the two have, but it's just first and foremost, that's where all the tickets are with the kind of scams going on nowadays. People can be kind of games and think, oh, I bought a ticket, when in reality you didn't. So I think let them sell the tickets, but just it has to be through Ticketmaster. It has to be.
Yeah. For me, Ray, I understand that, but at the same time, I think banning them from going to games and is a little
That goes
too
too
much. Yeah, I think that's a little bit too much. We took off Victor
Yeah.
there. I think that's going a little bit too far. I can understand maybe, maybe a first time slap on the wrist, second time maybe a half a season, punishment, something like a third of a season punishment. But to ban them moving forward, I don't know if you saw that report where a Spurs fan, he was a long time season ticket holder, where during the game they escorted him out because they caught him reselling tickets on a different market. And during the game, they them out and said, like, you're banned from not just Spurs games, any game that's under the umbrella of Spurs Sports and Entertainment. So that's even like what is it? The San Antonio FC games.
Austin Spurs.
Austin Spurs can't go. San Antonio Spurs. I mean, it's just I think that's just going too far, Ray. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I would get it if you maybe take away a game or two, maybe three from their package, but then you kind of go like, oh well, I'm paying this much money for a game. That's the least I can do. But yeah, a ban, that's way too harsh. And I get it because I know that was a whole discourse when the Knicks were in San Antonio. It was like, how are there so many Knicks fans here? San Antonio, we're relatively cheap with the tickets here. So you look at when the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, they're like 6,000. Nobody just has 6,000 flying around here in San Antonio. Yeah. So, but a ban, it goes too far. Like I get it. You want to kind of teach them that lesson, but at the end of the day, they're paying your company for the tickets. They do have that choice to resell them. It's just maybe give them warning, like you're saying. Like, hey, we saw that you did that. You can no longer do that. This is your one and only warning. And then it can kind of go from there.
Yeah, it definitely has been kind of a dividing topic with some Spurs fans. Some saying, oh, it's as we said right now, we go too far. There's some that agree with you, like, just read the fine print. You can resell them just to Ticketmaster. There's that. And there's the other side of the extreme where fans are saying, you signed up, that's what you did a contract for, you violated it, and here you go. There's your punishment. But it's interesting to see. I also think just overall optically, it's a bad look for the Spurs. Yeah, it just doesn't look right. Like it just looks bad, but it is what it is. I'll just see how the Spurs will remedy this moving forward, because the Spurs are only going to become a hotter ticket. Go ahead.
No, yeah, this offseason for the Spurs, it's been a rough one to say the least. But yeah, like when this came out, it was like, oh, wow, they're doing okay. I guess that's what the Spurs are doing.
Is like that. Yeah, exactly. Hey, well, what do y'all think about this ticket thing? Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Let Ray know on X at RREYVING. Do that right now. We got another comment lined up. Let me pull it up here. And it is regarding Wembanyama. All right. So this is from Sam Torres 6087. So he starts off saying that he's obviously happy for the Spurs going to the NBA Finals because it was awesome. He goes, but here's his point. Get your thoughts on this. He says, in my opinion, Victor needs a signature shot. Luka has that step back. SGA has that automatic from mid-range. Even Caitlin Clark has her left side step back. Wemby doesn't have that yet because we need him to come in clutch in that way. What do you think about that? Do you think Wemby needs to have a go-to signature move?
I do. I think right now his offense, it's stagnant. So when you look at it, you look at Victor, every Spurs fan, everybody that knows basketball, it's like, hey, get this guy in the paint. You can only do so much when you have 3 or 4 people guarding you in that paint. So I think I saw when the playoffs were going on, Wemby needs a sky hook from Kareem. Personally, I think that would probably have to be the move. You look at him, he's 7'4". You have other guys in the league that are like 7'1", maybe 7'2". If he gets that sky hook, it's an automatic in. He's 2 inches taller than the players in the centers or players that play center. I do think that shooting wise, let it be the mid range. You look at it, it looks like it's from the free throw line. He could hit from that point on, but I wouldn't mind a mid range. I know LaMarcus Aldridge was kind of saying at some point maybe have him work with Wemby, which former Spur
I'm down.
and he's known for his mid range. I wouldn't mind that. So I do think he needs to open up his game a little bit more. He's 22, I believe, 23.
Yeah, he's still a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think once he gets that signature, the league is really over. Nobody's going to be able to stop that.
Yeah, I really want to see him develop a sky hook. I think that'll be like a very devastating move for him. But didn't you also work out with Hakeem Olajuwon to learn the dream shake? We saw that a little bit last year during games.
Yeah,
he busted it out. If he can continue to go into that and make it, I mean, that'd be a very nice move for him. Again, hey, Dream taught it to him, so it's fair game. Wemby can use it because Rockets fans are going to come in, Ray. Rockets fans are going to be like, oh, look, he's stealing from us now. Kind of like how the Knicks. By the way, the Knicks fans still today are still making fun of Wemby. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's just let them have their fun. They haven't won in like 50 years. It's probably going to be another 50 years so they get another one.
Yeah, but going back to Wemby, yeah, I think he does it. I mean, I'll take if he learns the bank shot from Timmy. Fine. Anything. Taking David Robinson's mid-range shot. Fine. Just gotta do something because he can become predictable. Either he's going to go inside or outside from the 3. That's it.
Yep.
And defenses don't have to worry about, oh my God, he's getting ready for the sky hook or he's getting ready for the dream shake. How are we going to stop it? You don't keep the defense on their heels in that way. I mean, look, Wemby definitely keeps all defenses on their heels. He's just a freak. But man, talk about elevating your game. That could be it for him. We saw him take steps to become a vocal leader last year. I think that's the next step in his game, just to develop a go-to shot. But man, can you imagine Wemby with the hook shot? That'd be crazy. Nobody will be able to stop it. Nobody. Nobody at all. Yeah, nobody at all. Imagine this guy getting ready to set up the sky hook. You see it kind of right there, getting ready for it. Look at that wingspan. You ain't gonna stop that. But Ray, I thought Chet Holmgren was a Wemby stopper.
Who? Mr. 4 for 4? I know OKC drafted some guy from Michigan, and hey, the supposed Wemby stopper. Yeah, and I saw those highlights. I ain't worried about him. Nobody's worried. Nobody's worried about him. Wemby, he's going to continue growing. And whoever is going to step up, they're going to step up. The only one I think, personally, it is Mitch Robinson. I hate to say that. Mm-hmm. He's known to put Wemby in his place a couple of times in the finals. So I do think, hey, we good.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. I'm still waiting for the Wemby stopper. So whenever that happens, we'll see when it happens. He is Ray Carter. Follow him on X at RREYVING. You want to do that right now. But my goodness, Ray, what's going on in the WWE wrestling world?
Yesterday, Saturday night's main event. It was in New York. It was a snooze fest. The main event was Jalen Brunson. I don't want to see that in my offseason. Yeah. But Seth versus Roman, though, Seth versus Roman, that one's going to be a good one.
Really? All right. Well, there you go. Ray's also a very avid wrestling WWE fan. Again, follow him on X. We want to chat it up with some WWE talk. Do that right now. Ray, thank you for filling in for Mr. Rudy Campos today. We appreciate it as always. And everybody else, we appreciate y'all for making Spurs in Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. But what do y'all think? Do you think the West is still going to be a problem for the Spurs, or is it cruise time for the Spurs once again, all the way to the NBA Finals. There are teams that worry you, or maybe there's no team that worries you in the West. Again, let Ray know on X at RREYVING. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Don't forget to subscribe where you get your favorite podcasts, such as iTunes, Spotify, YouTube Music, Pocket Cast, Amazon Podcasts. We are everywhere. Obviously, subscribe to the YouTube page as well. Leave a comment as well. We love to hear what y'all are talking about this offseason. The Substack is free. Spurs In Focus Substack. Go subscribe right now. Google it. Sign up today. We'll be back on Wednesday as well. Now it's the super slow period of the NBA offseason, but we'll have stuff to talk to you about before the real season begins in a few months. I know, a few months, but hey, let those Spurs recharge their batteries for another, hopefully, playoff NBA Finals run. All right. We're going to put a bow on that. All right. So for Mr. Ray Carter, I am Jeff Garcia. And now you are in focus with Spurs in Focus.